Hello 5301, my name is Daniel Couch, and I'm giving this week's reading presentation. My article is titled, The Cost Conundrum, What a Texas Town Can Teach Us About Healthcare. This is a 2009 article written for New Yorker magazine. In the article, the author travels to McAllen, Texas, to find out why their healthcare costs are so high and to see if he can apply lessons learned to the nation's impending healthcare crisis. First, here's a little background on McAllen, Texas. McAllen is a border town located in Hidalgo County. In 1992, McAllen's Medicare costs were comparable to the rest of the nation, but in years since, their rates have skyrocketed when compared to the national average. In 2006, Medicare spent $15,000 per enrollee. That's $3,000 more than the average income of McAllen's residents and almost twice the national average. So why are McAllen's healthcare costs so high? Your first assumption may be the socioeconomic status of McAllen's residents contribute to an abnormally unhealthy population. While it is true that McAllen has an obesity rate of 38%, its rates for cardiovascular disease, asthma, HIV, infant mortality, cancer, and injuries are lower than the national average. In fact, El Paso County, a community with essentially the same demographics, spends half as much per enrollee as McAllen. You may think that McAllen is providing superior care to their patients with technology that is not available elsewhere, but that isn't the case either. While McAllen hospitals do have all the capabilities one would expect from a modern hospital, their quality metrics fall below the national average. Some speculate that the high cost may be due to high rates of malpractice lawsuits. However, malpractice payouts in Texas are capped at $250,000, keeping lawsuit rates low throughout the state. So what gives? Why is the cost of healthcare so high in McAllen? The answer is quite simple. The primary cause of McAllen's extreme cost is an across-the-board overuse of medicine. Between 2001 and 2005, critically ill Medicare patients received almost 50% more specialist visits in McAllen than the national average. In 2005 and 2006, patients in McAllen received 20% more ultrasounds, 30% more bone density studies, 60% more stress tests, and 200% more nerve conduction studies. They received 1/5 to 2/3 more gallbladder operations, knee replacements, breast biopsies, and bladder scopes. They also received 2 to 3 times as many pacemakers, implantable defibrillators, cardiac bypass operations, and coronary artery stents. Also, Medicare paid for 5 times as many home nurse visits. So now I'd like to discuss how the overuse of medicine contributes to the increase in healthcare costs without making patients any healthier. People like to believe that, with most things, more is better, but research suggests that in the case of healthcare, it may actually make things worse. In 2003, a research group at Dartmouth University examined the treatment received by 1 million elderly Americans. They found that patients in higher spending Medicare regions received 60% more care than elsewhere. They got more frequent tests and procedures, more visits with specialists, and more admissions to the hospital. Yet they did not have better health outcomes or satisfaction with the care they received. If anything, they seemed to do worse. The reason for this is unnecessary testing and surgeries put patients at additional risk. Complications can arise from hospital stays, medications, procedures, and tests, and when things are of marginal value, the potential for harm can outweigh the benefits. The study also found that patients who lived in regions with higher than normal Medicare expenditures received fewer preventative treatments, faced longer wait times, and were less likely to have a primary care physician. In short, patients in higher spending regions get more of the stuff that cost more, but that's not necessarily more of the services they need. So why do doctors in McAllen perform more tests and procedures when compared to other places in the country? The article speculates that the healthcare culture in McAllen is one that puts profits ahead of patients. This implies that physicians in McAllen see their practice primarily as a revenue stream. They are oblivious to the national implications of their decisions and put a lot of focus on their business aspect of their practice. This means the more surgeries, imaging, home nursing referrals that are completed, the more profitable a physician's practice can become. I found that this article, while dated, made for an interesting read. I've never given much thought into how the overuse of medical treatments can negatively affect care outcomes. I highly suggest this article to anyone interested in the origins of Medicare's decision to improve quality of care through a pay-for-performance approach towards reimbursements. The value-based programs implemented by Medicare are the ones that pay providers for the quality of care, not just the quantity of care that they give. Thank you for listening. I look forward to your questions and comments.